I'm never sure. Oh, are we on? Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. My name is Amy Weisberg, and I am your service leader and general do everything storyteller and everything else today. So today is an intergenerational service, so the children will be with us and will be participating in the service, correct? I want to welcome you all here. We welcome everyone, no matter where you are in your journey, you're welcome here. There are some announcements. Second hour programs are listed in the order of service, and there's some announcements in the e-news that comes out every week. And I think that's the only announcements I'm supposed to make. So we'll start our service with the prelude. And now Shua is going to light our chalice for us. And the words are up on the screen. Oh, he's getting good at that. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also, to be welcoming to whoever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. So our first hymn might not be familiar to all of you, but it's quite short. So Cecile is going to play it through one time, and then we'll sing it through twice together. If you're just looking at the words, that's fine. If you're one of those people that opens the book and follows the music, the melody is in the middle line. So now we have a story. So I need my actors. No, not you. I need Shua and Lorelai. Not yet. Not yet, Julian. Your time will come. We have to do a little costume. So this story is a Jataka tale. It's a Buddhist story, and it's really one of my very favorite ones. And basically, they're tales that the Buddha tells about when he was in different lives, when he was a different animal. So once upon a time, the Buddha was a little parrot who lived happily in a beautiful forest. But one day, without warning, lightning flashed and thunder crashed, and a dead tree burst into flames. Flames on. The little parrot smelled smoke. "Fire," she cried, "run to the river." Flapping her wings, rising higher and higher, she flew toward the safety of the river's far shore. But as she flew, she could see that many animals were already surrounded by the flames and could not escape. Suddenly, a desperate idea, a way to save them, came to her. Darting to the river, she dipped herself in the water. Then she flew back over the now raging fire. Having reached the heart of the burning forest, the little parrot shook her wings, and the few tiny drops of water that still clung to her feathers tumbled like jewels down into the flames and vanished with a hiss. Then the parrot flew back to the river. Once more she dipped herself in the cool water and flew back over the burning forest. Once more she shook her wings, and a few drops of water tumbled into the flames. Still the little parrot flew on. Back and forth she flew, time and again. Her mind spun dizzily as a spinning spark. At that moment, some of the blissful gods, this is a blissful god, floating overhead in their cloud palaces of ivory and gold, happened to look down and see the little parrot flying. But one of those gods changed himself into a golden eagle and flew down into the little parrot's path. The eagle said, "Your task is hopeless. A few drops of water can't put out a forest fire. Cease now and save yourself before it's too late." But the little parrot continued to fly on through the smoke and the flames. She could hear the great eagle flying above her as the heat grew fiercer. "I don't need a great shining eagle," coughed the parrot. "I don't need advice. I need some help." Rising higher, the eagle watched the little parrot flying through the flames. "God though I am," he exclaimed, "I wish I could be just like that little parrot." Moved by these new feelings, the great eagle began to cry. And he cried over the forest, wave upon wave. His tears fell washing down like a torrent of rain upon the fire. Where those cooling tears fell, the sparks shrank down and died. Green grass sprang up from among the still glowing cinders. The other animals looked at one another in amazement. They were whole and well, not one had been harmed. Up above in the clear blue sky, they could see their brave friend, the little parrot, looping and soaring in delight. When all hope was gone, somehow she had saved them. And they all cheered. Yay! Thank you. So now is the time for us to share our joys and concerns. You're invited to briefly share events in your life so that we may support and celebrate together by dropping a pebble in the water. So if anybody has something to share, you can just share by dropping. Enter together into a short period of meditation, um, prayer or meditation, whichever you wish. It's now time to take up the offering. After we sing the little 2 lines that we sing together, we'll enjoy choir anthem, Build Me a World. All cash and undesignated checks will be split with our Share the Plate recipient this month, Healing Paws for Warriors. That song gives me chills. And I don't know if any of you could hear, but while we were singing the Circle Round for Freedom, which is usually done in many voices, they were harmonizing this absolutely beautiful, and I don't know how much of that came across in it was wonderful. So today I'm going to talk to you about the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee and their Guest at Your Table program. So the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is an associate member organization of the Unitarian Universalist Association. They advance human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilize to challenge oppressive policies. Their work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. So they advance this mission through advocacy, grassroots partnerships, justice, education, and leadership development, and work in individual congregations. The UUSC's work began in 1939 when the Reverend Waitstill and Martha Sharp took an extraordinary risk helping refugees escape Nazi persecution in Europe. And if you want to see that whole story, the Ken Burns documentary, Defying the Nazis, The Sharps War, I think it was on PBS in 2013, but it's all over the place for streaming if you want to see the whole story. It's really fascinating. The UUSC and the Sharps are also mentioned in the second part of the recent PBS documentary, The U.S. and the Holocaust. In 1940, the Unitarian Service Committee was established to continue and formalize this humanitarian service. In 1945, the Universalist Service Committee was founded to support relief work in Europe, and of course they merged in 1963 when the two denominations merged. So, using one of the great miracles of the modern age, I just love this, it's called copy and paste. I printed out a timeline of various UUSC initiatives and actions, thinking I would tell you some of them, but it's 3.5 pages long because it started in 1939, and we don't like it when teachers just read out a bunch of dates, do we? No, we don't like that. So we're not going to read those. You can come and look at them after the service, or you can just go online to the UUSC website and look them up yourself. So I first heard about the UUSC when I joined the UU Fellowship in Montgomery, Alabama in the late 1990s. What impressed me the most was that instead of trying to reinvent the wheel when a crisis came up, the UUSC would find an organization already on the ground in that area who already knew what to do and join in partnership with them and assist either with money or administrative resources or even political influence in some cases. So if you remember our story, what did the parrots say? The parrot said, I don't need advice. I need someone to help. And that's what the UUSC does all around the world. So at that point, I also became involved in the UUSC Coffee Project, which sounds like a wonderful thing, and brought fair trade coffee, chocolate, and tea to our congregation in Montgomery, and so that was good. Since then, whenever a crisis emerges, the first thing I do is go to the UUSC webpage to find out who they're partnering with. So when Russia invaded Ukraine, I'm sure you all were, I was inundated with requests for funds, for assistance, send money here, send money there, send money, and I said, no, I need to see who the UUSC has partnered with because I know they will have somebody. And I did. There were a couple of organizations they were already in partnership with in the area and were supporting through the immigration crisis because of the war. So I could donate. They set up an emergency fund. I could donate either to those organizations or to the UUSC emergency fund and know that what I was donating was going where it was needed. So what is Guests at Your Table? Well, Guests at Your Table is UUSC's longest established fundraising and educational program for congregations. That's what they say on the website. Okay? And it usually gets tied to the children's RE program. It debuted in 1975 after a UUSC staff member went to the Netherlands, and while he was there, he saw a similar organization's program entitled Gast aan Tafel, and that's probably not very good Dutch, but that's what it says. And I couldn't ever find out because I can't read Dutch. I could go to their Facebook page, but I couldn't read it. I have a feeling it was Oxfam, but I'm not really sure. So the idea was to educate its supporters about its work and raise vital funds through the use of colorful boxes the whole family enjoyed. The idea of having a decorated box in the home to collect funds for charity is not a new one. For me, it's a very old Jewish tradition. Tzedakah is most commonly translated as charity, but the word has its roots in the words for justice or righteousness. And the Jewish tradition teaches that giving tzedakah is a religious imperative. So the kids in one of our Sunday school lessons, we talked about the things that your religion says you're not supposed to do, like don't do these things, like don't kill, don't this, don't this. But there's also the do things, like do be kind to people, do, protect people who are in trouble, do all this, do all this. So that's the religious imperative of tzedakah, is to do this. And it's called a mitzvah, or divine obligation. So this is, I emptied it out because it was really heavy. This is my tzedakah box that I have in my home. It's not real silver, but it's very pretty. And the tzedakah boxes were supposed to be beautifully decorated or carved out of wood or something, because when you give, you should give joyously. So it should make you happy. So that's mine. Also, sharing your table with someone implies that you want to get to know them. You're bringing them into your family. A lot of traditions share food and share meals. So calling it guest at your table, you're inviting people into your home to learn about what they're doing and maybe help out. So each year, the UUSC selects 4 guests from all the organizations it supports. And I think right now they're in 40 different countries around the world, so it's a selection process. And these guests, I have all their information is on the back on the bulletin board. And the boxes look like this. And you take it home. The idea is that you take it home, like my tzedakah box, and you set it out on your table, and you invite these guests to your table for the time between Thanksgiving and New Year, and put donations in the box all through that month, and then you bring it back after the first of the year. And the bring back date this year will be January the 8th. It's actually the second Sunday, but since New Year's Day is the first Sunday, that was a little strange. So we bring our boxes back, and then we make a donation from the church to the UUSC. We'll also, during the month of December, the UUSC will be the Share the Plate recipient during our services. So there's many ways. You can put coins in the box. Don't worry, we'll count them. You can put bills in the box, dollar bills, $5 bills, $10 bills. I'm not picky. You can put a check in the box if you want, but make the check out to UUSC, not to the fellowship. Or, you can just put money in the collection plate. It'll be split between us and the UUSC. Oh my God. See, I'm trying to watch the time because I'm having a dinner party and my guests are coming. My guests must be on the way. I need to put some chairs out for my guests. Sit down at my table. So these are my guests for this year, and I've invited them to a dinner party. So my first guest Thank you. So my first guest, this is Ian Zdanowicz.
Hi, I'm Ian. I left Poland 14 years ago to escape homophobia and transphobia. It was really scary and lonely to be an immigrant and a trans person and rebuild my life in a foreign place and culture. My search for community in the U.S. led me to the Queer Detainee Empowerment Project, QDEP. First, I was just a member, then a volunteer, then a staff member, and now I'm co-director. QDEP provides immediate support to newly arriving queer and trans immigrants so they don't have to do all the work from scratch to find the people and resources that they need.
QDEP has been a UUSC partner organization since 2017. UUSC supports their direct services program and has been partnering with them for the past 3 years on a leadership development program. Ian says love, care, and solidarity build bonds and relationships that can't be easily destroyed by violence and injustice. So my next guest is Ineza Umahosa Grace.
Hi, I'm Ineza. I am the global coordinator and co-founder of the Loss and Damaged Youth Coalition. I first experienced the effects of the climate crisis at an early age when my family home in Rwanda was destroyed due to intensive rainfall and wind. I didn't realize that what had happened to us was caused by climate change until I was in high school. I decided to study environmental engineering at the University of Rwanda, and in 2020 I helped establish LDYC. We are a coalition of youth who join together to drive action, demand justice, and address loss and damage brought on by climate change. We now have more than 300 members in 40 countries.
UUSC is LDYC's first funder, providing them with direct financial support. Ineza feels a responsibility to her younger siblings and to future generations. She says, we can ask a kid, when was the last time you saw a butterfly? Because butterflies are a part of the animals that are endangered due to climate impacts. And some kids say, I saw it on television. I grew up seeing butterflies in nature. I want that in the future for all children. So my next guest is Nawa Kushi.
Hi, I'm Nawa Kushi. I am a member of the Karen ethnic group in Burma. I have personally experienced the violence of the military regime against my family and community. I worked for various women's organizations before joining the Karen Peace Support Network, the largest network of the civil society organizations in Burma. We provide humanitarian support for conflict-affected Karen communities, internally displaced persons, and refugees.
UUSC has been partnering with grassroots organizations led by ethnic minorities in Burma for more than 25 years. These deep connections have meant that UUSC is one of the very few international organizations who have been able to get humanitarian aid to communities since the military coup. Through support from UUSC, KPSN can continue to document the ongoing human rights violations in Burma. And my last guest is Zolt Shakaris.
Hi, I'm Zol. I'm the senior legal officer and legal coordinator of the Hungarian Helsinki Committee. I wanted to do human rights work from a young age, and knew that I could make the most impact in my home country of Hungary. Hungary was already moving toward more restrictive policies on human rights. Then the war in Ukraine caused more than 1 million people to seek refuge in Hungary. We make sure that staff are available daily to provide information and assistance in a variety of languages, including Ukrainian and Russian. UUSC was able to respond quickly with an emergency grant. It was very uplifting for us and that our partners, including UUSC, did not abandon us.
UUSC has a strong relationship with HHC forged over many years. In Zolt's words, we are, together with our partners, upholding a basic sense of decency in a country that's been so tormented and ravaged by the radical right. That is, I think, incredibly important. So those are my guests, and I'm going to ask two of my guests now to take a basket and walk down, and anybody who would like to take a box home to put on your table for your guests. So it's basically one per household, but that's okay. You can take more than one if you want. I think we have enough. And I invite you to go to the UUSC webpage and look at all the, the different projects they're involved in and stuff like that. And I want to thank all my guests for coming to dinner. Okay, so now we'll do our final hymn, which this one should be very, very familiar. So if you'll all stand as you're able. Hymn 159. Now I think Shua is going to come up and extinguish the chalice. We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame and this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond. And now please remain seated for the prelude. Thank you.